Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. First, let's go over the picks for college football this week, my top 5 games, or top 6 games if you will, because there's a game that I had on here that might get canceled. Um, let's get started with the big military game, Navy versus Army. One thing we know that is no matter the record, who is the better team, we can always expect a close, typically low-scoring game here. I mean, that's what happens when both teams run the same type of offense. But despite that, though, whoever has the better record, even though it's usually a close game, they usually come out on top. And this year it's Army by, and it's not even close. Especially since Navy got beat down by Air Force early in the year. So I'm gonna, even though I'm a Navy fan, I would have to take Army here. And I'll take them by a touchdown in like lower scoring 17-10 type of game. Um, Next game is 15 USC at UCLA. USC's coming into a rivalry on a high here, and I'm thinking that they're all that, and as they should, because I'm like Oregon's down, Washington's down, stuff like that. But UCLA has a really good offense that USC can't ignore. They won against Arizona State by more than USC did, which was a lucky win. Same with Arizona. They should have beaten Oregon, so they're one straight up loss was against 21st ranked undefeated Colorado, so it's a good loss. But basically, this has upsetter written all over it, so don't be surprised if UCLA gets the upset here and knocks USC out of New Year's Six contention. But I think it'll be a fun game that goes down to the wire, but I feel like USC will hang on, though, a 42-38 type of game. Third, you got 11 Oklahoma versus West Virginia. So this is an interesting game, and the reason why is because since Oklahoma has already clinched a spot in the Big 12 title game, they could kind of play like lackadaisical and careless and lazy and stuff like that because there's nothing to play for. They lose, they're in the Big 12 championship. They win, they're still in the Big 12 championship. And the interesting thing though is that if they have 3 losses, then I feel like even if they do win the Big 12, they might not be in the New Year's Six bowl game. Um, So that I would probably say that's why they should play a little bit harder this game. They should go out and try to win it versus just kind of like win it half-heartedly. And then West Virginia, I know after getting dominated by Iowa State last week, on Senior Day they're gonna try to do the best they can to wipe away the memory of that game and try to go out and give the seniors a victory here and try to play a good competitive game. I mean, which they can. I mean, they were competitive against Oklahoma State. They were competitive against Texas, who's ranked. Um, so they definitely have the capability to do it, but I'm going to take Oklahoma here. To kind of like start slow and then pull out in the fourth quarter, win like 34-20 type of game. Next, I got Washington versus Oregon. So this is the one that might be canceled because Washington had a positive activities. And it's just funny because if Washington cancels the game due to COVID, then they're automatically going to the Pac-12 championship game, which is funny. Because if they were to play this game and then lose to Oregon, because Oregon has one more loss than Washington does as of right now. So if Washington loses to Oregon, then Oregon goes. So if I'm Washington, you might as well I know it's the big rivalry game, and you've lost a couple in a row, but it's like you might as well just cancel the game so you can go to the Pac-12 championship game. It's crazy how that works. But if for some reason this game does happen, then I feel like the COVID issues is going to be a big factor for Washington. Plus, Oregon has to play for something here. So I feel like Oregon would be desperate and they'll try to play their hardest and get the upset here by a field goal, like 37-34 type of game. But again, that's if that game happens. Probably won't sustain a positivities, but we'll see. Next is 9 Georgia versus 25 Missouri. Good congratulations for Missouri on being in the top 25. Unfortunately, it's going to be short-lived because I feel like Georgia should win this game now. I do feel like this game is going to be close because as we've seen the past month or so, Missouri can score a lot of points. They lit up scoreboard against LSU. They lit up the scoreboard last week against Arkansas. So they can definitely score. And Georgia's defense is not as good as we thought it was. So I feel like they can get some points on the board. But ever since JT Daniels has been the quarterback for Georgia, that's been the difference maker. And he will be the difference maker helping Georgia win like in a 28-24 type of game. And then last but not least, you got 17 North Carolina versus 10 Miami. Um, Another top 25 matchup here. So for Miami, while they missed out on the AC Championship game, this loss, this game's important because if Clemson wins and then Clemson and Notre Dame are both in the playoffs, then that means Miami could get the Orange Bowl spot as AC representative and be in the Year 6 bowl game, obviously. If they lose, so then that's going to put a damper on things, and they're going to have to be relegated to I don't know, it's still a decent bowl, but just not as good as a bowl as a Year 6 bowl, obviously. And for North Carolina, here's your motivation. They only have one top 25 win, and that's against a rival NC State, which is good. But NC State's barely a top 25 team, and people don't care about NC State as much. But it's like against the bigger competition, like Notre Dame, you had a chance to win, and you didn't. You got an upset by Florida State and Virginia. Florida State loss is especially a bad loss. So here's your chance. Like we all thought you were going to be good coming into the season. Here's your chance to be a top 25 team and now a top 10 team to be specific, and make your mark on the season and kind of get you confidence going into the next season as you continue to rebuild and recruit. So I'm going to take, despite beating Miami, I'm going to take UNC here for the upset and get like a 42-38 type of game. I could be wrong there, but that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so to recap, Army by a touchdown, USC by 4, Oklahoma by 14, Georgia by 4, and USC by 4. A lot of good games. So let's get started with the NFL picks. Start with tonight's Thursday Night Football game. We got Patriots versus Rams. On this one, I'm easily going to take the Rams here. Now, luckily, the Patriots were already in LA from last week, so it's not like they have to travel in a short week. They were already there, so they could stay there, get used to the time zone, blah, blah, blah. So that's good for them. However, though, the Rams are just such a good defense, and the Rams are going to make you pass the ball, which we know Cam Newton cannot do that well. Like, they're not going to be able to successfully just have a running offense, and then the defense won't be able to give them a touchdown or two, and the special teams I doubt will be able to give them a touchdown or two to kind of make it close. I feel like the Rams should win this game pretty easily. In fact, we'll see if it's close, but I feel like they should win this game easily, officially kind of putting a damper on Patriots playoff hopes and keeping the Rams in discussion for winning the division. Let's start off with Broncos versus Panthers. With Panthers at home, I was going to take the Panthers because I like how they've been playing and stuff, but they got 8 people on the COVID list, including their 2 wide receivers. Along with McCaffrey now having an injury issue once again. And the way the Broncos played the Chiefs close last week, I'm going to actually give the edge here to the Broncos. Drew Lock needs to show that he can at least be the quarterback going into next year, and he has to go at the very least 2-2, in my opinion, and then starts with beating a team like the Panthers. Okay, so now you get Texans versus Bears. Now, originally I thought, okay, well, Bears D-line will eat up the bad Texans O-line, and that it's in Chicago. Texans aren't going to deal well with the cold weather, so I thought this was going to be a Bears win, but I just don't like how the Bears have been playing at all the past recent weeks, so I'm going to take Deshaun Watson overcoming his fumble mistake in the last game at the end to kind of come out here and get a victory. Cowboys versus Bengals. Cowboys automatically because Bengals don't Joe Burrow. Bengals win. Even though it's in Cincinnati, Bengals win. It's pretty sad. Titans versus Jaguars. Titans come back and win. They rebound. They've always had an advantage over their divisional rival Jaguars. Chiefs versus Dolphins. So this is a very interesting game here. I feel like it's going to be kind of like the game we saw against the Broncos last week. The Chiefs might be settling for a lot of field goals, and it might be a lower scoring game than anticipated. But I'm going to take the Chiefs here to go to Miami and get the upset. So they could still be in a fight for the number 1 seed. Don't get me wrong, the Bucs defense is good. The Bucs in general, the Dolphins in general are good, but I feel like the Dolphins are just quite not there yet. Okay, you got the Cardinals versus the Giants here. This is a very interesting one because, Giants are on the hot streak and Cardinals are the opposite of that. And I know both teams are fighting for a playoff spot here. It's in New York, so cold weather might be a factor there. And the Giants' defense has been playing really good. So the Cardinals won't be able. It's not like the Cardinals will be able to win in a shootout here. But I'm actually going to go ahead and still take Arizona. I'm still not jumping off the train quite yet with them. I still feel like they can make the playoffs, and if they want to, they have to beat this game and can't fall under 500. I feel like Arizona is going to show their desperateness, and I feel like they're going to come out on top. Vikings versus Bucks. A lot of people say this could be a potentially trap game, but it's not. Bucks are going to win this game easily. As we've seen with Kirk Cousins against really good defense, aka the Colts, where he threw 3 interceptions, and now the Bucks are, who's a better defense in my opinion. Like they're going to destroy Kirk Cousins. They're going to stop the run, because they're going to stop the run and Dalvin Cook. That means they're going to make Kirk Cousins beat them, which he can. So Bucks win. Colts versus Raiders, and this was a very interesting one because whoever loses this game doesn't bode well for them making the playoffs. And it's at Las Vegas, so that would typically favor Las Vegas. But I just don't like what I've seen from them the past 2 weeks. I mean, beat up by Atlanta and luckily barely beating the Jets. It's not the right trend that I want to see. Versus the Colts, where they've been playing more consistent. So if you were to ask me a couple of weeks ago, I'd take the Raiders in this game. But now I've actually switched my pick to take the Colts here in the upset. Jets versus Seahawks automatically. Packers versus Lions. I think this is, despite this being a divisional rival at Detroit, I'm going to take the Packers here pretty much automatically. Falcons versus Chargers, the battle of the letdowns, if you will. I'm going to take the Falcons here though, just because they've played better than the Chargers have, in my opinion. And I feel like again the Falcons are still trying to play for their intern coach. And this is their last chance to get a win before the last 3 opponents get really hard. So the Falcons got to win this game. Saints versus Eagles. Saints will win on. Oh, I should say automatically, but because when you play against a new quarterback, since you don't have much tape on them, it's hard to prepare for. But the Saints should win pretty easily. Jalen Hurts, I feel like even if he does provide spark, he's not going to be able to beat the Saints D-line. Even with his legs, I feel like the Saints will be like, okay, we're going to stop you from running and make us throw it over the top. So I feel like this is a perfect game for the Saints to win. And Taysom Hill here will be playing most likely. So, which is fine because Saints just still win. Washington versus 49ers. This is a very interesting game here because Washington has the potential to upset the 49ers here. The 49ers have to win out to even sniff the playoffs. But I feel like, even though I thought the 49ers D-line could affect Buffalo's O-line last week, I was wrong. But I feel like this time around, the 49ers D-line should be able to affect the Washington O-line this time. And Washington losing their running back, Gibson, Turto. So I just feel like this is a game for the 49ers to win. So I'm going to pick them. Steelers versus Bills. That's a great Sunday Night Football game here. I feel like the Steelers will play a little bit harder now that they lost and try to bounce back. But the Bills are just on the roll. I feel like they got just so much talent. And I feel like this is just a game at Buffalo. Like, it just sets up for a Bills win here. And then for Monday Night Football, I got Ravens versus Browns. A very interesting game here. I mean, I feel like this game will be closer than the first game of the season against them. That is for sure. But I feel like since they both kind of run the similar schemes here, both like to run a lot, and I feel like the Ravens defense is better than the Titans defense. I feel like Baker Mayfield going to pass for 300 plus yards type of thing. So I feel like it's a close game. Both teams going to run a lot, going to come down right to the wire. But I feel like the Ravens will get the win here to try to keep their playoff hopes alive. Because if they lose, they're gone. So I think the Ravens are going to win this one. And that's my NFL picks. I got Rams, Broncos, Texans, Cowboys, Titans, Chiefs, Cardinals, Bucks, Colts, Seahawks, Packers, Falcons, Saints, 49ers, Bills, and Ravens. Thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel to know more about me. In next week's podcast is somehow I'll go over my updated NFL projections and update college football bowl projections. Thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel to know more about me. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day.